There's $27 million in that building that I put over there. Alone, just the studio.
From 50 Cent's private $1 million studio to Dr. Dre's hidden underground music bunker in Brentwood to Jay-Z's elite creative fortress where timeless records are born, the world of luxury studios hits totally different. Let me show you what making music inside the most expensive creative spaces on Earth really feels like.
Because we can't use the word retirement for you.
Yeah. No, I already did that. I can't do that ever again. I would say I want to make music, but it has to be something important. I don't want to just make a bunch of tunes.
We got to start with Dr. Dre's Brentwood Mansion studio because this spot is straight unbelievable. What does it take to cook up tracks like Still DRE and The Next Episode without ever stepping outside? For Dre, it meant digging out a full 10,000 square foot studio underneath his $40 million Brentwood estate like some secret musical headquarters built under a French-style palace. This isn't a bedroom setup or a simple laptop and headphones vibe. This is a full scientific sound lab where Dre shaped classics for Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, and himself with zero studio time limits. The mansion was purchased back in 2014 for $40 million, but Dre allegedly dropped another $5 to $10 million just to carve out this underground kingdom.
Because back in the day, I had, let's say, 1 or 2 keyboards to make an entire album. So I had to figure out ways to make the sounds different. So I would go in pawn shops and find guitar pedals and what have you to make the sounds in this one particular keyboard sound different so I can make an entire album using one keyboard.
Multiple rooms, a central control spot, vocal isolation booths, and a chill lounge where artists can hang during long studio nights. This whole place was designed to feel like a private creative world. Every inch is loaded with acoustic panels, custom bass traps, and floating floors that block out all outside noise, making the space perfect for Dre's famous booming low-end and clean highs. And the gear in here, it's wild. Dre keeps 4 to 5 AKAI MPC 3000s ready to go for sequencing those punchy West Coast beats. He's got EMU SP 1200s for that gritty old-school flavor, plus a Sony C800G microphone worth around $10,000 that he swears captures rap vocals better than anything else. But the real treasure was his SSL 4000G Plus console, a massive 48-channel analog machine that hit a record price of $165,000 at auction in 2025, making it the most expensive piece of hip-hop gear ever sold. Dre's monitoring setup is just as intense. Custom Augsburger Duo 12 to 15 main monitors with 2 12-inch woofers and a 15-inch sub in each tower, costing around $20,000 to $30,000 a pair.
Did you own a music studio in Atlanta?
Yes.
Andre 3000 and Big Boy, they recorded a song.
Yeah, they bought the studio from me. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you decide to own a studio?
Not wanting to spend my budget on other people's studios.
Shake the whole room with cinematic bass. He still uses Yamaha NS10M monitors for accurate mix checks, plus vintage DBX 160 compressors for those sharp drum hits. The entire operation runs through an Avid Pro Tools HDX system, giving Dre that perfect mix of digital precision and analog warmth he loves so much. And Dre's mansion isn't just about music. It's got solar panels, a gym, a sauna, and a home theater built right in, so he can move from family time to multi-platinum production without ever leaving the property. If Dre's lab flexes multiple MPCs and a legendary SSL board, wait till you hear how the next rapper upgraded his spot.
There's $27 million in that building that I put over. Alone, just the studio. Everything that I bought away from that is shit I bought just because I need them to feel what you feel right now.
Yeah.
Here. So it's not a bad place to go. In the process, it makes the place cool.
Because 50 Cent's G-Unit Studios is loaded with full Dolby Atmos systems and film-level equipment that takes things to another level entirely. Most people brag about building empires, but 50 Cent actually went out and built one for real. He took a massive 956,000 square foot warehouse in Shreveport, Louisiana, and flipped it into the second largest black-owned studio in the entire country. And this spot isn't just some recording booth. G-Unit Studios is a full film and TV production headquarters where he runs everything from the Power Universe to BMF to full soundtrack work, all under one gigantic roof. Back in 2023, he locked down the building on a wild deal, $2,400 a year on a 30-year lease with a 15-year renewal option. The move marked his shift from mixtape legend to full-blown multimedia mastermind. The place used to be Millennium Studios, a city-operated building, but Fifth dropped around $3 to $4 million to renovate it and load it with high-end gear. Now it looks like a creative fortress built for business. The setup was designed to handle anything: multiple sound stages for building big sets, post-production rooms built for Dolby Atmos mixing, and green screen areas for hybrid shoots. Inside, it's sharp and stylish, black and white hallways, polished concrete floors, and G-Unit branding everywhere that makes the whole place look powerful. Two big offices are the heart of the spot, including 50's personal suite lined with custom decor, including a painting of himself sitting in the vanity room like a boss. For the studio equipment, 50 kept everything professional but serious. His famous Sony C800 G-Tube mic, the same one he used on In Da Club, is installed in the G-Unit vocal booths now. He also kept a Neumann U87, the mic fans saw years ago on MTV Cribs, the same one that helped capture his sharp delivery on Curtis. The vocals usually run through a Neve 1073 preamp for thick low end, then through an Avalon VT737 SP for that smooth tube warmth. Anytime 50 talks about this studio, you can feel how proud he is about creating something that'll last for decades. The mixing room holds an SSL 4000G console with EMOS for routing into Pro Tools, plus a full Dolby Atmos system for those cinematic TV scores. After major renovations, the studio officially opened in August 2024 as part of 50's three-phase community plan involving housing, training programs, and creative opportunities. So this place is way more than a studio, it's a whole movement. And while 50's rocking Sony tube mics and Neve chains, the next artist took things even bigger, stacking multiple SSL desks and loading the room with custom Augsburger speakers all around. Jay-Z's Baseline Studios shows how sometimes the realest, most authentic art comes from the rawest spaces. Baseline Studios, tucked in Manhattan's Chelsea district, became the battle station where Rockefeller planned their rise. It was a rugged creative bunker that valued independence and raw talent over fancy design. Opened in the early 2000s at 127 West 26th Street, this spot became the birthplace of legendary albums like The Blueprint and The Black Album, created inside a space that didn't need flash to feel iconic. The layout connected three main production rooms so artists could slide from recording to mixing to straight brainstorming without losing momentum. The control room held the main console surrounded by racks of outboard gear, with a tight soundproof booth next to it and a lounge where late-night freestyles filled the air. The acoustic treatments included custom Jove 2 FX diffusers painted Nardo gray, plus bass traps and floating floors for clean, accurate sound that kept everything locked in. The gear inside Baseline was nothing but pure vintage analog muscle. The heart of the whole place was an SSL 46-channel 4000G Plus mixing console that had been freshly refurbished for the 2023 exhibit at the Brooklyn Public Library. Jay used this monster board for spreading tracks and doing those classic old-school mixes on Kanye's stems. Secondary rooms held SSL 9000J series desks and extra 4000G Plus consoles, giving engineers all the room they needed to layer beats and lock in vocal sessions with precision. Jay leaned on a Neumann U87 running through an Avalon 737 for iconic joints like 99 Problems, plus a Neumann U67 tube mic when he needed extra detail, and sometimes he switched to a Sony C800G when he wanted those slick polished hooks. His whole approach to music shifted over the years, less about flooding the streets with endless tracks and more about making work that truly meant something. For speakers, he used custom Augsburger Classic 215 monitors with dual 15-inch woofers, painstakingly refurbished for the exhibit, along with Yamaha NS10S for mix checks. Outboard gear racks stayed loaded with Empirical Labs distressors paired with API 550 EQs for punchy drums, TubeTech CL1B compressors for smooth vocals, and a Lexicon 480L reverb for those wide, atmospheric spaces. Young Guru ran the entire setup through Avid Pro Tools HDX, keeping everything clean and tight. Even though the original baseline closed in 2010, the 2023 life-size recreation funded by Roc Nation preserved every tiny detail, from the wood panels to the exact placement of the gear, turning it into a cultural time capsule. And if Jay-Z was flexing 64-channel SSL boards and vintage Newman tube mics, this next artist went the total opposite direction, running battery-powered MPCs and portable samplers. Kanye West's Yeezy Ranch studio out in Cody, Wyoming was a whole different kind of creative zone. Instead of a traditional studio, Kanye built a self-made creative retreat across 10,000 acres of ranch land. He turned a simple eating cabin into a space where music, fashion, and pure isolation collided. He bought the Westlake Ranch property in 2019 for around $14 million, and the whole setup evolved from those stripped-down Yee-era sessions into a full campus where gospel rap ideas and Yeezy prototypes came alive, surrounded by mountains and wildlife. It all started inside a small wooden cabin sitting on rolling hills, but by 2020, he expanded it into a brutalist concrete compound modeled after his Calabasas headquarters. The layout had interconnected zones, a central studio between 1,000 and 2,000 square feet using totally portable rigs so he could move setups around, nearby prototyping rooms for Yeezy samples, and open areas where the Sunday service choir rehearsed. The acoustic treatment wasn't fancy, but it worked. Foam panels, rugs, wood, and solar-powered systems tied into his eco-focused ranch operations like sheep farming for Yeezy wool. Kanye focused on mobility and hybrid workflows. He used an Ensoniq ASR-10 sampler heavily during the Wyoming era. Fans saw it in sessions with T.I. for Ye vs. the People. He kept an Akai MPC 2000 XL for drums, an MPC Live for battery-powered off-grid work, and pulled out a MacBook for Donda sessions. The Roland TR-808 also shaped those minimal Wyoming beats. For vocals, Kanye switched between a vintage Neumann U87 with a windscreen, shown in live streams, a Sony C800G for crisp hooks, and a Telefunken Elam 251 for gospel-styled warmth on Donda. The chaotic eyeball isolation device became a key piece for makeshift booth setups, and believe it or not, he recorded around 20 to 30% of Jesus is King and Donda using iPhone X voice memos. His main audio interface was the Universal Audio Apollo Twin MKII for tracking. Monitoring came from KRK Rokit 8G3 powered monitors on the Wyoming desk, with Yamaha NS10S for clean mix checks. He kept synths nearby too, an Oberheim OBXA for atmospheres, a Mini Moog Voyager for bass lines, and a Dave Smith Tempest for experimental drum patterns. The TubeTech CL1B handled all the vocal dynamics during the Donda sessions, keeping every take smooth and controlled. Everything ran through Avid Pro Tools or FL Studio, with plugins that ranged from official tools to a torrented version of Xverse Serum people claimed they spotted during sessions for those modern textures. But the luxury here wasn't about marble floors or flashy decor, it was about the healing silence of a $14 million ranch, plus another $36 million worth of dome structures, labs, and even blueprints for a massive 100,000-seat amphitheater. Solar power and sustainable farming kept the whole operation running with zero interruptions, letting those gospel-influenced Donda sessions breathe in total peace. Kanye's Wyoming cabin stayed filled with classic samplers and Roland 808s. But this next artist took studio luxury to a whole different lane with $15,000 Telefunken mics and custom Augsburgers everywhere. Rick Ross's promised land mansion studio shows what living large really looks like. When Ross says he lives like a boss, he means it. His promised land estate out in Fayetteville, Georgia stands as true Southern rap royalty, complete with a full recording studio built right into the basement of one of the biggest private homes in America. He bought the mansion back in 2014 for $5.9 million after it went into foreclosure under Evander Holyfield, and he turned the property into a creative empire. This estate ranges from 45,000 to around 54,000 square feet, sitting on 322 acres, making it Ross's headquarters where massive trap anthems get shaped inside pure luxury. The mansion has 109 rooms, 12 bedrooms, 21 bathrooms, all wrapped in a white stone exterior with marble floors and huge dual staircases. Ross named it Promised Land, as a salute to his rise from humble beginnings. The studio is tucked in the basement, around 1,000 to 2,000 square feet, and built for total focus. There's a main control room for mixing, an isolated vocal booth with clear sightlines for real-time teamwork, and professional acoustic treatments like foam panels and bass traps to keep those booming 808s contained so they don't shake the whole mansion. The basement links right to a custom gym, a 135-seat theater for playback, a 2-lane bowling alley, and an indoor lap pool, so he can switch from recording to relaxing in seconds. Outside, the property has its own private highway, lakes, and huge lawns that Ross famously mows himself using an air-conditioned tractor with a radio inside. Security stays tight with a gated entry and full surveillance around the clock. When it comes to gear, Ross keeps everything top tier. He uses a Neumann U87 condenser mic. Fans saw it in booth footage from 113 session videos. Perfect for capturing his clean, heavy rap tone. He also uses a Telefunken Elam 251 tube mic worth around $15,000 for warm vintage vocals that fit his deep baritone on MMG collaborations. Shure SM58 and Shure U2 SM58 wireless mics handle quick demos anywhere around the massive estate. Monitoring includes Yamaha NS10M speakers for honest mix checks and custom Augsburger Duo 8 mini mains worth $10,000 to $15,000 per pair for deep, accurate, low-end, perfect for trap production. He also keeps KRK Rokit 5G3 monitors in certain rooms for fast reference. His vocal chain likely uses an Avalon preamp for that warm, rich tone, something fans mentioned in old forum discussions about his Port of Miami setup. All the renovations and the studio build-out added an extra $5 to $10 million to the property's value, pushing the estate's worth somewhere between $30 million and $75 million. Ross later bought another 87 acres for $1 million in 2019, expanding the grounds even further. The mansion has been used for filming movies like Coming to America and countless music videos, making it part creative powerhouse, part luxury retreat. Purchased in 2003 for about $4.8 million, this 17,000-square-foot Oakland County mansion became Eminem's private creative bunker, a place where he could write those deep confessional tracks with zero interruptions. It's tucked inside a gated community where he could host sessions with Dr. Dre while still keeping family life steady with his daughter Haley. The property sits on nearly 6 peaceful acres backing up to Stony Creek Metro Park, giving M the kind of calm inspiration he never had growing up. Built in 1996 with imported materials and crazy detailed woodwork, the mansion holds 6 bedrooms, 10 bathrooms, and a basement-level studio between 1,000 and 2,000 square feet. The design includes a fully soundproof live room for recording, a main control space with clear sightlines into the booth, and gear storage right next to it for fast access during long nights in the studio. The acoustic setup uses fabric-wrapped walls, bass traps, and floating floors that create a dead, tunable room perfect for sharp highs, heavy lows, and clean rap mixes. The home flows right into luxury. After recording, M could slide straight into a mirrored home gym or hit a private 135-seat theater with full surround sound for playback sessions. If he needed a break during an all-nighter, he could step outside to the pool or the hot tub. State-of-the-art HVAC kept all the sensitive gear protected, while smart electronics let him control different parts of the studio remotely. Security stayed tight with biometric gates, full surveillance, and a discreet 3-car garage for low-key guest arrivals. For recording, M kept it professional and sharp. He used a Sennheiser SKM 5200 wireless handheld with an ME5005 capsule, his go-to for aggressive deliveries during the recovery era. He also had his Neumann U87 for neutral hooks and a Sony C800G tube mic, the same type used during the Marshall Mathers LP for polished, bright vocal tones. His vocal chain ran through an Avalon VT737SP for warmth, a Neve 1073 for color, and a Manley Vox box when he needed tight processing for those rapid-fire flows. Mixing was handled on an SSL 4000G series console with a massive 80-channel layout for full-track spreads, all integrated with Avid Pro Tools HD. Monitoring came from Focal Trio 6B speakers to keep the playback accurate and brutally honest. He also used a Korg Triton 61-key workstation for beat ideas, a TC Electronic 2290 delay for echo textures, and Antares Auto-Tune applied lightly for certain modern touches. Renovations to the studio wing pushed the mansion's value above $10 million at its peak. M eventually sold it in 2017 for $1.9 million, and it popped back onto the market in 2021 for around $3.23 million, marking the end of an era for one of hip-hop's most private creative hideouts. He now works out of Detroit spots like Effigy Studios, keeping his setup tight and focused. And if M's studio was built around Avalon channel strips and Manly processors, the next rapper's spot takes things to a whole different level with a 64-channel Neve console and 10,000-watt custom speakers. Snoop Dogg's Beach City Music Complex is a world of its own. When Snoop opened Beach City in Inglewood back in 2016, he wasn't building just another studio. He created a full 20,000-square-foot cultural headquarters nicknamed The Mothership, a place where West Coast rap, film work, and pure creativity crashed together under one roof. Commissioned by longtime collaborator DJ Pooh and designed by Westlake Pro's elite audio team, this complex near LAX became Snoop's command center for recording, broadcasting, and running ventures like Death Row Records. The building holds 3 spaceship-themed studios: Mothership Studio A, Battleship Studio B, and Starship Studio C, each one tuned for consistent sound. Studio A is the main control room, a big production and mixing zone centered around a massive console desk. Studio B handles 5.1 surround mixing with lounge seating so whole teams can lock in together, plus a video editing bay for broadcast prep. Studio C is a writing and tracking room designed for Snoop's son Cordell Broadus, with modular furniture so younger artists can move things around as needed. The acoustic treatment is top tier, featuring custom Davy panels, bass traps, and diffusers installed to keep the response perfectly flat. And the rest of the complex is stacked with extras: a full basketball court for quick breaks during long Dr. Dre sessions, a car showroom showing off Snoop's classic rides, and a radio suite where he runs live Sirius XM broadcasts. But Snoop wasn't the only one taking creativity mobile or futuristic. Before this next legendary producer built his dream studio at home, he was literally making hits on wheels. The story of Timbaland's Oracle tour bus setup shows how far an artist will go to keep the creativity flowing. Around 2010, Tim rolled out a fully customized Prevost coach valued between $1.3 million and $2 million. A luxury tour bus turned into a full professional studio. Fans called it the Oracle, and it let Timbaland craft major records like parts of Future Sex Love Sounds without ever taking a break from the road. Inside the bus was a room within a room build, a floating inner studio suspended on isolators to cancel engine noise and road vibration. The central production zone sat at around 100 to 200 square feet and packed a compact control desk for mixing, a small vocal booth with clean sight lines, and modular racks so Tim could grab gear instantly while traveling. Acoustic treatment was legit: dense foam panels, bass traps, and multi-layer wall construction with neoprene isolation to keep the whole sound tight and tuned for bass-heavy beats even while the bus was rolling. The Oracle wasn't just a studio, though. It was a lifestyle setup. It had a passenger seat mic rig for drive time demos, a living room with leather couches for brainstorming, a full kitchen for food breaks, and sleeping quarters for overnight production runs. There were marble floors, LED lighting controlled by apps, and climate-controlled HVAC to protect tube gear. Power came from onboard generators or solar backups so the studio could run anywhere, anytime. Built by Pro Audio Nerds Inc., the full project cost between $1.3 and $2 million, about $500,000 for the bus itself and $800,000 for the audio installation. At the center was an SSL Matrix hybrid console with 16 by 16 channels and super analog preamps, where Timbaland routed every signal for clean, powerful mixes on the go. The main monitors were custom Burger soffit-mounted speakers with dual woofers and horn tweeters worth around $20,000, plus Genelec 7380A subwoofers worth about $2,000 each for heavy low-end and KRK-VXT4 monitors for quick desktop checks. Tim's go-to vocal mic was a custom gold-plated Neumann U87 worth around $3,200 plus the custom plating. He often used it handheld in the passenger seat to catch ideas mid-drive. Processing came from 7 SSL X Logic rack modules worth about $5,000 each for preamps, EQs, and compression. Everything ran through Avid Pro Tools HD for editing, with beat-making gear including a Korg Triton 61-key workstation, a custom OpenLabs Timbaland Miko controller worth $2,000 to $3,000, and a Yamaha Motif ES7 synthesizer for pads and texture layers. The original bus was sold in 2021, with pieces like the SSL Matrix console alone going for around $10,000, closing a wild era of Timbaland literally producing hits on the highway.